Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to day one of the 2023 MicroStation Virtual User Conference. We just heard from Mike and Julian in the keynote session, but if you didn't have a chance to see, all of the recordings will be available afterwards, so don't worry. First off, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Molly Brown, and I am the Director of Product Management for MicroStation. This is my favorite time of year because we get to share some of the great things we're working on as a team to help make your life easier. We are so glad you are here. But before we get started, I want to give a quick overview of the rest of today's sessions following this one. You'll have Modeling Anything Anywhere, which will talk about the new Geospatial context workflow. After that, Read and Consolidate Anything, which will talk about how MicroStation serves as a powerful data integration tool. And followed by MicroStation and iTwin, how ArcGIS is expanding digital delivery. So today's speakers will include Karishma Anthony and Eduardo Cortez, who will be speaking about the top new features we just released in MicroStation 2023. So MicroStation has made several improvements in its latest release. However, we have cherry-picked the top 6 feature introductions and improvements that we would like to walk you through. Here are the topics that we will cover in our session today: our new versioning number, installation improvement, our user experience enhancements, GIS support, iTwin services enhancements, and productivity improvements. And just a note that MicroStation showcases features that are commercially released and some that are still in technology preview mode. What is technology preview? This basically provides early access so you can test functionalities and provide feedback during our development process towards our product innovation. You can identify these in the product with the technology preview icon and here on the slide with the technology preview icon in the top right corner. Okay, well, without further delay, I will hand it over to Eduardo to get us started.
Thank you, Molly, for the intro to the session. As Molly told, we are going to speak about the MicroStation news, MicroStation 2023 news. The first one we want to review with you is the name, the MicroStation branding, right? So you can see that with MicroStation, there is a new number sequence. You can see there what is combining the name for the application name, the major version year, and the sequence number. So with MicroStation 2023, with this new name, what we try to do is make it simple, the information for you to know in which version you are. But it's not only about have the version of the year you are using or is released. It's about easy helping you to easily understand what is the relationship between application in Bentley. So when you are speaking about different applications like Open Roads, Open Building, MicroStation, knowing that the year, it will be easy for you to identify which one is working or better connected, and also remembering always the year. That is also helping you to understand the life, the validity of the product, right? And it's helping to understand, as I told, the relationship with other, but remember that the GR and the validity of the support. But this is a good and important thing to know, that this is not meaning a new generation. So MicroStation 2023 is the natural evolution of the MicroStation Connect. So the version after MicroStation Connect update 17 is MicroStation 2023. But there is not a new generation, not a change with the file format, not a change on the tools. So this is the natural evolution of the product, right? The next feature we want to review, the next change, is about the installation. Now MicroStation 2023 supports side-by-side installation, so you can have multiple versions of MicroStation on the same machine. This is meaning that you can decide if you want to upgrade your existing MicroStation Connect to 2023 or you want to decide to keep both versions installed in parallel. In fact, when you are installing, you can see that the default configuration folder is different, right? So by default, it's offering you different folder to install. So by default, if you don't change anything, you will have installed MicroStation 2023 in a different folder that MicroStation Connect. But you decide to do it in the same, you will upgrade. Anyway, it's important to remind that side-by-side installation, apart from helping you to solve the case or the situation in which you need to have different versions installed for your project convalidation or so compatibility or something like that, it's important to remember that side-by-side installation is only available for major releases. So when you install a minor release, it will automatically upgrade the version of MicroStation installed on your computer. Right? After this block, I will hand over to my colleague Charisma to speak with you about the next block, that is user experience enhancement. Hello, Charisma.
Thank you, Eduardo. That's some informative stuff on the installation happening in MicroStation. All right. There are a couple of quick but efficient user experience enhancements that are introduced in MicroStation 2023. The very first one that we look at today is the new Geospatial Context workflow. The new Geospatial Context workflow and its ribbon provides users with the ability to easily incorporate geospatial context into a design while working with MicroStation. Now, what does this mean? It simply means users can now incorporate geospatial context into their design files with direct integration with Esri ArcGIS REST map and Esri ArcGIS REST feature services. Now, I'd like to let you all know that geospatial context is one of our highly requested features by current users. Direct integration with geospatial data services provides a rich context, both visually and semantically. The new Geospatial Context workflow concentrates in one place all the tools that are needed to create and access all types of contextual data supported by MicroStation. You can learn much more about this new workflow and all the features available here in the next session called Model Anything Anywhere, delivered by our colleague Louis Martin along with Simon Hatch from ACOM. Let's look at another feature. The next one we have is the escape tool to exit command. Now, users coming from AutoCAD are not familiar with MicroStation workflow. When working with MicroStation or even any other Bentley products, you often tend to have trouble with exiting the current command. MicroStation has a setting in the preference dialog that allows you to define the escape keyboard to cancel the current command. However, when using the TWG work mode, the escape keyboard input will automatically end out a MicroStation set for a non-disruptive, productive workflow. The next up is recent tabs in the command pop-up. I'd like to let you all know this is a technology preview feature. Users spend a lot of time doing repetitive functions, right? And time is lost when you have to stop what you're doing and look for a tool that you've currently used. Let's watch a quick video that explains how the pop-up dialog smoothly incorporates the changes in MicroStation with the current tab beside it. So here we've added a new recent tab to the current pop-up hub, which is accessed by hitting the spacebar where the mouse is pointing at the view. The recent tab remembers the last 5 tools in the session. The tool resets when the MicroStation session ends and reopens the pop-up tab when initiated. Yeah, there. Okay. Yeah, that's the recents too. You enter what you like. Okay. You can do that again. All right. Okay, perfect. Next up is item types improvements. Now, we've made improvements to the advanced data reporting area with improved text handling from item types, tools like attach item, edit item, and clone tool, as well as adding item type propagation to multi-line partial delete tool. Here are some of the technology preview enhancements made an item type section. The first one that you need to know is the ability to place item types text on selected level. Secondly, we have introduced filter provision in the level drop-down in attach item, the edit item, and the clone tool. Thirdly, we have the ability to define formatter for item type text and item type manager. Another ability is to set default value field for calculated property in item type manager. Then we also have annotation scale lock in all the dialogues. That's now possible. Lastly, force association of the item type text with the source element of the text editor. Now let's look at some table improvements. There have been significant enhancements in the Table Style Manager dialog ever since its inception. The Table Style Manager now has the preview of the Save Table Style and the read-only display of the table style setting. Earlier, users were unable to save table settings after placing the table. However, with MicroStation 2023, you can easily save the table and its settings after placing it. Let's watch a quick video to understand the enhancement in the Table Style Manager dialog. Alongside, you can now find these enhancements in the Table Style Manager dialog. The Table Style Manager shows all the captured settings. You can see the fill color row, the body row, default text color, all under the General tab, which it captures. Secondly, for all the rows under the title, header, body, summary, and footer, it captures text style and fill color. Each row type is presented in a different tab. Yeah, there, all these fields that you see, your title, header, body, you can get a glance of everything all together. Also note that Table Style Manager shows the table preview for the selected table style. Here you can edit the report, select what you like, retain associations for the tables, view all its data. And there. That is some cool enhancement there. All right, so for the next part, I'd like to hand over to Edu so he can speak to you about the GIS support that we have in MicroStation. Thank you.
Thank you, Charisma, for the explanation of the user enhancement experience, user experience enhancement feature. Yeah. And yeah, now I am going to speak about the new feature for GIS support. Right? Charisma spoke before about the new Geospatial content workflow that is including all the features for the giving access to the geospatial context, and Charisma mentioned that Esri ArcGIS REST feature and map services was part of this option. Right? But what I want to show you now is the REST map service integration is solving a situation that was happening before. That is the user of Bentley design software do not have tools to directly access geospatial data available on the web. And we know that contextual data is very important because when we are working in a new project, a new infrastructure project, the environment, the context is critical to understand because it can affect our infrastructure model, but also we know that the infrastructure model can affect the context, right? So now we can have direct access to the Esri ArcGIS map services, and maps can be added in reference like any other type of raster data. Apparently, you can think that this is a tool specifically designed for civil engineers or GIS users, but I think that this is not so accurate because at the end, working with the context and reading this data is something useful for any MicroStation user. In this example, you can see how a user is accessing maps, right? In this case, this is just opening the connection to the Esri ArcGIS map services, is connecting to read the data, and what you can see is the maps created in Esri or saved in Esri are available, so you can display the map as they were created. This is exactly in the same format, and they can be displayed via Raster Manager like any other raster data, right? Also for the REST feature service, this integration is helping us save time because it's avoiding to read the data through an intermediate format like the shapefile, right? So in this specific example, what you can see here is how we can make a connection to the Esri ArcGIS feature services, and we can, on top of our beam maps, we can activate this data coming from the Esri feature services, and we can see here, in example, the complete route of the Philadelphia Marathon over the beam maps together in MicroStation. The final block here is about the OGC web feature service integration. MicroStation 2023 now is able to connect in a read-only way to the Open Geospatial Consortium web feature services. With this connection, what we are doing is allowing the users to query the OGC servers and create DGN elements, including the values of the semantic properties. OGC, or Open Geospatial Consortium, is a standard for GIS data, so it's providing a big database of information there. So what you can see here is, much like the Esri services integration feature, accessing OGC from directly is providing information to the geospatial environment that is very convenient. So, because contextual data is, as we spoke before, very important when designing to consider the environment you are affected. Now, the direct integration of the OGC standard is providing you access to the data available on all these OGC servers that is massively created by users around the world. Now, I will hand over again to Charisma, who will give us information about the iTwin services enhancements.
Thank you, Edu. The part about OGC was definitely very impressive. All right, the next segment of the presentation focuses on iTwin service enhancements, under which we look at issue resolution services. Now, issue resolution enhancements talks about the improvement made in managing an issue. Let me play a video to explain this better. When reviewing issues in the issue resolution service, it was previously hard to identify the element that had an issue associated with it. Now, we show markers for elements that have an issue. Clicking on these markers will open the issue for managing it. To view the element markers, you must turn on issue markers in the View Attributes dialog. Also, within the issue resolution dialog, you can now fit that element to the view to more easily locate and resolve the issue. You can do so by selecting the thumbnail corresponding to the issue in the issue dialog. Please note that this was originally designed for all users who work on frequently updating and reviewing issues. Here we see the manage issue. There. All right. Yeah, that's that. And for the last segment of the day, I'd like to hand it back to Edu to talk to us about the productivity improvements introduced in MicroStation. Back to you, Edu.
Thank you, Charisma. Yeah, I will give an update about the productivity improvement. There are several of them that we were including in MicroStation 2023. The first one is about a new option to define the maximum value of the elements to include in the Explorer. So if you go to the file settings for the Explorer, you can see that there is a new value there where you can define the limit. The idea is defining a maximum number of elements is about when you are selecting a big group of elements. Sometimes if this is a very big, like 1,000 of elements, it will take a lot of time. So what we are doing here is the option for you to define a limit. So you can be sure that when you select a big group of elements, you will not need to load data from 1,000 elements. So if your limit is 4,000, 2,000, you can do it, right? The other productivity improvement is about CAD solid with curve. You can now see that while creating a CAD feature on a solid, you can now choose to use the profiles element attributes for the feature, just activating the use profile attributes option. So turning on the checkbox is applying the profile element in the CAD feature. Turning off is maintaining the element attribute, the solid attributes in the CAD feature. Finally, we have another new tool. This is again technology preview. This new tool allows you to create easily a new loft solid using the guide wire. So you can select the guide wires in both directions, horizontal and vertical, and create the element. So it's relatively easy to create a new element, selecting the shapes and creating it. Now, after this review of the productivity improvements, I will hand over again to Charisma for the for the review the summary.
All right. Looks like with that, we've come to an end of the session. I hope we were able to successfully exchange the learning about values and the different benefits of the new workflows and features that we've introduced in MicroStation 2023. Before we move to the Q&A section, let me quickly summarize today's session for you. So today we try to cover the following feature introductions. Firstly, we looked at the new versioning number. Then we looked at the installation improvements. Thirdly, we extensively looked at the improved user enhancement, user experience enhancements that are introduced. Then Edu spoke to us about the GIS support. Then we also looked into iTwin services enhancements that emphasizes on issue resolution. Lastly, Edu explained productivity improvements.
Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and share it with others. If you want to see more like it, please consider subscribing to this and Bentley's other channels. Thank you, and see you next time.